This episode was brought to you by CambodiaSoulmate.com, because sometimes you need to travel the world to find your soulmate. And we're back. I nodded to show I had heard. I saw Sullivan's shoulders move back. He's making to block, so don't swing too hard. Okay. I threw a light punch. A quick, decisive move, while Sullivan lifted his defenses. I knocked him back a little. We were both still lively, although he was faring a little better than me. He will have regained some muster from that block, my master shouted, so be warned. I saw his arms tense, and got ready to duck and dodge, once more protecting my face. Sullivan snapped up his arms to block. We circled each other nervously. Neither of us was badly worn, though he was looking better than me. Sullivan's weight moved back. He's making to swing! I kept my guard up, once more protecting my face just as he punched hard. I caught the punch neatly. We were both still energetic, though he was faring a little better than me. I heard rather than saw the money-changing hands. Spectators were betting on me. Now it was my turn. I jabbed. A quick, decisive move, while Sullivan made a quick jab. I overpowered him, landing a sting. We were both still energetic, though he was looking better than me. Watch it, the next swing may be harder. I brought my defenses up, once more protecting my face. He delivered a stinging punch. I deflected the impact breathlessly. I was fading fast and could not take much more. He lifted back his shoulders. Next, I jabbed. Come on, jabbed. Just as he brought up the block, I pushed him a little. We were both all but equally matched, tiring but still eyeing each other. I threw a heavy punch, putting all my weight behind the blow while, he punched harder. I burst through his attack, knocking him back across the carriage. An excellent hit, Monsieur Fogg declared. A little blood leaked from his lip. Sullivan span around and fell backwards onto the floor of the van. Defeated! Hey! Generous hands scooped me up into the air. Excellent show, Monsieur Fogg beamed, displaying a violent burst of character. Most impressive. Sullivan was rubbing the side of his head and cursing in a version of English that I did not recognize. I shook his hand as he was carried to the compartment to lie down. I believe this makes you lightweight champion of North America, Monsieur Fogg remarked to me. More to the point, we won a little from a wager or two. 2,000 pounds. Oh! I feel good. Na, 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 na. Do that I would now. Da, na, 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 na. I woke, still smarting from my boxing smatch with Sullivan, and my master most generously decided he would fetch breakfast. You are most kind. I vow I will be able to move once more tomorrow. Indeed, he replied, and we cannot have you dropping the tray. He returned with black coffee and well-buttered toast. A most considerate choice to bring to a Frenchman. Or at least, so I thought, until he began to eat the toast himself and drank the coffee in a slurp. We arrived in New York later that day. I struggled to lift the cases with my tired arms, and we staggered off the train. Why did it deteriorate? I just won the guy $2,000. Chump. Alright, well, at this point, really, I'm in New York, and I'm pretty sure that exploration is going to show me the flight to London. Yes. I was pickpocketed in New York. I waited, intended to pounce on the departing figure, intending to pounce upon the departing figure, and I brought the little thief to the floor with a clatter. The little thief looked up at me with thick lashed eyes. I realized belatedly that the thief was a young girl, barely 10. I released my grip slightly, and she took the opportunity to curse in a thick Irish accent and bite me. I held on, and despite the inconvenience, and she finally grinned at me, teeth stained with my precious life's blood. Are you done, little vampire? For now, the girl muttered. What's it to you? I looked down at my bloody arm. Truly, it was a salutary lesson to not let my guard down in strange climes. I should report you or don't steal again. Don't steal again, I commanded sternly. As she returned my possessions, she agreed she would not ever, cross her heart, though her expression was shifty. I relaxed my grip and she slithered away and lost herself in the crowd. I made my way back to our hotel before anything more untoward could befall my delicate person. And London. We are leaving tomorrow at noon. And it arrives on Tuesday. We're gonna make it, guys. We are gonna make it 4,000. See why I was so concerned about the price? All right, hotel. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna make it in 80 days. We are gonna win this bet. Another night, and the clock was forever ticking upwards. With the last few hours of the evening, I made sure to repack and iron everything. I went to stretch my legs. No, I went to repack and iron everything to ensure everything was shipshape for our coming departure. Depart. Atlanta, Winnipeg, London. Go, baby. We left New York aboard the Henrietta, an old Confederate airship converted to a transatlantic mail carrier. We would reach London within 3 days, barring any unexpected delay. Excellent. Converse. Journey. We cannot afford to lose a single day. Dude, we're there. Okay, we're there. I have nothing personally against you, Passepartout, but I rarely talk to servants. Since when are you so snooping? Haven't we been strengthening our relationship this whole time? I mean, I've had a little bit of downers here and there, but for the most part, we've been strengthening. The ocean tore along beneath us. I enjoyed talking to no one. There was nothing I needed to know, no one to charm, flatter, or beguile into giving us aid. There was only the wind and the time. And we could control neither. Passepartout, my master demanded. Make us go faster, if you would. I went to approach the captain, went to talk to the boiler attendant. Why not? Faster, you say? It can be done, but it would destroy the engines. We want no risk, no danger. Then I promise you we will be in London in 2 more days. Strengthen slightly. Monsieur Fogg looked out of the observation deck windows with perfect calm, as though we were not, with every passing moment, drawing closer and closer to London. My nerves were in shreds, and I was nearly chewing the rails with anticipation. I spent the remaining time watching Parchment Dacier, ironing, embarking on the writing of this account. Embarking on the writing of this account. Though I already found the details of our early adventures had grown vague and indistinct. We tethered the airship dock in Hyde Park and felt, for the first time in 71 days, the feel of English soil under our shoes. At long last, we had returned to London, and in time to win the wager. I had got the achievement unlocked, no bangs. And actually, I ended up, the first time I did this through, I ended up getting a bunch of other achievements too, so that was kind of cool. I seized my master by the collar, and I threw him into one of the steam carriages idling on the banks of the Serpentine in Hyde Park. There's no need for such unseemly haste, Passepartout, my master noted, but I was a man possessed. The carriage barely shuddered to a steam-hissing stop before I dragged my master from his seat and up the steps to the imposing doors of the Reform Club. I released him only when we reached the great saloon where... his friends or his 5 antagonists. I don't remember. In the book, were they his friends or were they people who didn't like him? I think it was his antagonists. I'm going to say 5 antagonists. Stood from their chairs, gasping in an attitude of great shock. Monsieur Fogg only straightened a little and said in his calm voice, "Gentlemen, here I am." The room erupted into cheers. Where had the crowd come from? And I staggered to the nearest chair. Where had the crowd come from? Had they followed us inside from the street? I had scarcely noticed them. I realized, as though a spell had suddenly broken, that my master had won his wager. We had succeeded. And my master had won 20,000 pounds. Wow. With the 4,000 we began with and our remaining funds, it was a profit of over 19,000. Hardly a meager sum. Thank you. Thank you. Please. No applause. You don't have to applause. No, really. No. You guys don't have to applaud. No, stop it. No, really. Go ahead. My heart began to beat again, and I saw for the first time the grand interiors of the Reform Club, the heavily mustached man serving drinks behind the bar, and the crowds who had forced away. The heavily mustached man serving drinks behind the bar. None other than Monsieur Fix. He nodded to me silently, one rich man's servant to another. I pushed my way through to Monsieur Fogg, who had nearly been swallowed by congratulatory crowds. "You have won the bet, monsieur," I told him, and seized my master by the hand and shook it, as though saying it aloud once more would make it more real. Now we're going to shake his hand. And shook it as though we were two equals and not merely a master and servant. Monsieur Fogg pressed my hand warmly and did not remark even once upon the impropriety of my gesture. Indeed, though his cool gaze did not so much as waver or soften, I believe he welcomed the chance to shake my hand. "Any gentleman would be fortunate to call you his valet, and you have been a worthy companion to me besides," Monsieur Fogg said, and I knew that from him there could be no higher praise. "Mr. Fogg! Mr. Fogg!" one of the journalists in the crowd cried, interrupting our conversation. "What next for the great adventurer Phileas Fogg?" I thought it was Phineas. I guess since this is steampunk, it's Phileas, but I thought it was Phineas Fogg. "And his loyal valet Passepartout." My master looked at me. "Why," I replied, "to the moon, of course." I looked around at faces of the assembled crowd and quirked an eyebrow. "Anybody care to make a wager?" Monsieur Fogg refrained from rolling his eyes. "I believe," he said with great deliberation, "that tonight I will have supper and go to bed. Come, Passepartout, it grows late." "Yes, Monsieur Fogg," I said, and followed. "Your journey around the world is complete!" Celebrated Englishman Phileas Fogg wins round the world rager. Journey completed in 71 days despite kidnapped by mattress nuns, sinking airship off the coast of Singapore, and contracting cholera. Nice. Traveled 27,000 miles, favorite transport airships, finishing balance 19,264, traveled 8,700 by sea, 68,000 by land, or 100 by land, 12,000 by air, total spent 19,000. My character is suave, my manner is flamboyant, my valeting is strong, and relations is comfortable. Nice. You see what I mean? You see how, like, it's just... And I tell you what, guys, every single time you play this game, it's different. It's one of those where, I mean, you could do the same trip over and over and over, but if you just change it up a little and really switch things around and attempt to find different ways and different places to go, it's always a different adventure. You're always finding new things. I am genuinely pleased with this game. I mean, it's not, you know, the best game ever. Obviously, the graphics are very simplistic, but the story is wonderful. And I mean, the gameplay is a lot of fun. You really got it. I mean, I kind of made it easy with the money, but really, they actually kind of gave me a lot there, because typically it's not that easy to get that kind of money. I got really lucky with a couple of really good trades right at the beginning. Normally, you're struggling a lot more with that. We ended up kind of going all over the place. My first run through, I mainly stayed in Europe and Asia. I was mostly like up at the top of the world. I didn't go down at all. I was all up in Russia and China, and I left through Yokohama Harbor rather than through Manila. It was an entirely different trip, and that's the cool part of this game, is that every time you do it, it's different. Well, if you allow it. Obviously, you don't. I mean, if you can do the same trip every time if you want to, and how boring is that? But if you just kind of play around with it a little bit, you can have a different adventure every time, and it's so gratifying at the end, because you really get a sense of adventure and a sense of urgency throughout the whole thing. It's a lot of fun. I do recommend this game. If you haven't gotten it already, it's really cheap on Steam. It's called 80 Days, and I would like to say thank you so much to Cambodia Soulmate for sponsoring this set of videos and getting this game for me. I see why now that you wanted me to play it. 2 thumbs well up. Really, really had fun. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this particular episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, do the liking and the subscribing and the sharing on the social media. I can talk, really. You guys are fantastic. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, everyone, always remember that anyone can be a mouse that roars, but it takes someone special to be a lion that squeaks. So embrace your inner lion and squeak on! And try this. Go travel the world. Spread your horizons. See where the wind takes you. I think I might.